Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for my weekly comic book review for April 19th, 2023. All right, all those that are new to the channel, I want to say welcome. I greatly appreciate having you here. We've gotten some new subscribers lately, so thanks for joining, though I will say the good old algorithm has been rough. It continues as I giveth, they taketh away. And what I mean by that is I get some subscribers, and it seems like they keep purging my subscribers just as fast. And who knows why all that's happening. So I do appreciate your support. So if you don't mind, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment below to help support this in the algorithm. Let me know what comics I should have reviewed and maybe how you differ in your thoughts on what my views were on these ratings. So once again, for those that are new, I go over a batch of comics. I give you my top three, my bottom three, and the ones in between. And I give them a score of 0 through 10. 10 is the absolute piece of gold that you have to have. Average is 7 because that'd be around 70%. So yes, you're going to see more there in that area. So let's dive in. My number three, I'm going to go with the top three this time to start off with. My number three is World's Finest number 14. Yeah, World's Finest number 14. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I also use League of Comics Geeks, and I give you their score as well as how many people reviewed it to get an idea of how well the comic book is selling. Just a real rough estimate on that. They said 169 out of 175 liked it. This comic book is doing really well, and they have a average rating of 4.4, which once again, that puts it right around mine, actually a little bit higher than my score, but I think this comic book series deserves it. It has been good, and that tells you a lot because anybody knows me, I'm not a fan of Mark Waid. I think he's quite the dick, but he was the writer of this. He's doing fantastic. The artist is Dan Mora, and to give you just a little touch of what it's about, it says Bruce Wayne, a murderer. Bruce Wayne's billionaire rival Simon Stagg is dead, and Bruce Wayne is suspect number one. With their friends' freedom and reputation on the line, Superman, Robin, and Metamorpho, the Element Man, joins forces to exonerate the Dark Knight's alter ego the best way they can by finding Simon Stagg's real killer before they strike again. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of this issue, but I you know, it's comic books. You know what happens in comic books, right? But anyway, we have some great Clark and Bruce banter in this issue on how to handle a murder situation. I really like that. Superman gets Robin to fill the detective role, which I thought was a nice touch as well. Really is a good story. The art's decent, and this has continued to be a very solid series. By the way, also you're going to hear my notes. Okay, you might hear some clicks too because I'm using the League of Comics Geeks, as I mentioned before too. So you're going to hear all those notes and clicks. Yeah, just please be nice and bear with me there. All right, my number two for the week. This was, I didn't know this one was going to get this high, but it was Deceased War of the Undead Gods, number 8. I gave it an 8.1. League of Comics Geeks gave it 65 out of 77, liking it with a 4.1 average rating. So looks like it's doing decent in the sales, and most people tend to like it. Written by Tom Taylor, penciler Trevor Hairsine. Sorry, once again, I butcher names. Everyone knows that of me. This is the epic saga that began over 3 years ago, reaches its final cataclysmic conclusion. As worlds burn, heroes fall, can hope prevail? Deceased ends here. And that it does. I have to say, I think this was a great, a lot of fun there. Issue 8 of 8. Great Guy Gardner moment in this issue. I'm going to say really, really good Guy Gardner moment there. I loved that part of it. You know, this has a solid, heartfelt ending. And this surprised me. One of the reasons I think I give this book such a high score is because of the heartfelt ending. And since it was also a character that originally when this character came out, I did not like. I did not like this character at all. And the character grew on me. And I actually found it heartfelt in the ending. And it tugged on the old heartstrings a little bit. And I would recommend getting this miniseries. The art's not the greatest thing on earth, but it was overall a good story, and I greatly enjoyed it. Now for my number one. Now, come on, people. I think you might know what this one is. If you know its issues out, this is a series that has been continuously knocking it out of the park and doing a great job. And that was Flash issue number 797, where I gave it an 8.3. Yes, an 8.3. This book has continuously been good. 103 out of 109 liked it on League of Comics Geeks, which is a pretty good amount. So people are reading this. 4.1 average rating. So they got a 95 total score. It says misadventures and babysitting. And yes, that's exactly what it is. But this issue is just filled with charm. It's a super speed misadventure in babysitting as Kid Flash watches the kids, the Flash children, when a sleepover goes awry. Ace has to bring back the twins, Maxine, and a few new friends across time and space. Jeremy Adams was the writer, artist Tom Derrick. And I will say, this issue surprised me. Because you ready? We get the Super Sons in this issue. And I think that's one of the reasons that it surged right to the top. It has decent art, and it really does have a fun story. I would really like to see more of this group, more of these characters. Flash has continuously been high on the scale of good comic books, in my opinion. And this issue does not disappoint. And I think, once again, for everybody that's a Super Sons fan, get this issue. If you're missing the Super Sons and you aren't happy about the aging up of John Kent, this is the issue for you. This shows you that, hey, we've got the Super Sons here, and it really is good. All right, so now we've done that. Should we do the bottom next? Yeah, let's do the bottom of the bunch. These are the ones that suck that you should probably avoid. But before I do, I want to say thank you to these people right here. They subscribe to the channel, as well as support the channel on Patreon and Subscribestar. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. If you subscribe to those, you're going to get special videos just for you, backing tracks and music. Other little special bonuses there as well. Thank you so much to these people, because they are producers of the show. Literally, it would not be here if it wasn't for them. All right, so we're going to jump to the bottom bunch. And once again, this is not me trying to be a jerk. This is just my views. Yours could view too. So if you get butthurt, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. Just maybe try to be a little bit civil about it. So anyway, my number 3 on the bottom was Black Adam number 10, where I gave it a 6.9. Now, I wanted to like this. I enjoy the character of Black Adam. I usually enjoy the writer with Christopher Priest. And I just didn't care for it. The cover I thought was cool. Penciler was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, which I probably butchered. I apologize. But here's the thing. I don't think I'm alone. I'm the League of Comics Geeks. 16 out of 19 liked it. It means, and I've looked at the numbers. It seems like steadily people are just not continuing reading this. And I can see why. It had a 3.7 rating, which they gave it. Anyway, it says there is no redemption for Black Adam, or is there? Well, here's the thing. I like the cover on the issue. The art was okay in the issue. The story has just been continuously too slow every issue. And sadly, was expecting better. It was just not good enough in my opinion. And it's been hard to keep up and read to the end. We'll put it that way. Each issue is like, why am I doing this? Why do I keep wasting my time on this? And speaking of wasting time, here we go. This one fought hard for the number 1 of the worst. I mean, really hard. And that was Amazing Spider-Man number 24. I know it's popular to dislike this book right now. You ready for this? This is key. 56 out of 129 liked it. 2.3 average rating. This is toilet bowl. This is swirling. This was worse than last issue. How bad can you be? This is their Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man, the flagship title for Marvel, and how could you do it so badly? This was just terrible. I gave this, you ready? What score did I tell you? What score I gave it? I gave it a 6. Sorry if I said anything different. I might have looked at the wrong line here. A 6.7. Sorry, I almost misread there again. 6.7, and I think that's generous, and I'm going to give my reasons for that a little bit. It says, witness what brought Peter Parker and Norman Osborn together. Your opinion of who the hero is and who the villain is may end up at least blurred. And that's complete garbage. That had nothing to do really with the writing of that synopsis there, what it was. In my opinion, it was written by Zeb Wells and the penciler John Romita Jr. Here's the thing. All right, here we go. Here's reasons why it was so bad. The Spider-Man, when he goes to the Fantastic Four, he goes to the Baxter building. It's just the whole banter with Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four is completely off. He would talk to Reed Richards in this situation and get help. The fact that he didn't do it was absolutely ridiculous and dumb writing. It made no sense whatsoever. And that's not even the worst part, people. The art is okay. Yeah, there's a few cool panels that help give this a little bit better score for that. But here we go. Whew. This story is going to make people mad. They hint that the kids are MJ's kids. What happens, Peter was gone for a long time because time is different from here to where she was. So there's a different amount of period of time, a lot longer for Mary Jane. And anyway, so these kids are introduced and she says they're her family. So instantly everyone believes that means that's her kids. And that pisses everybody off, and I get it. That is stupid because, come on, we all know Mary Jane and Peter should be together. The fact that Marvel keeps doing this to the fans is nothing but poking the bear. Marvel's doing this on purpose, people. They're using hate marketing. Their goal and aggravation marketing. The goal is to piss you off, to make you, wow, that makes me mad. I've got to see what's going on. You don't believe me? They've done this in everything else in existence. Matter of fact, look up Howard Stern. They found that people that didn't like Howard Stern actually listened to him longer than the people that liked him. And that's what we're getting here. But the question is, how long can it carry? We've seen the same thing under Dan Slott. Dan Slott's style too is to piss off the readers. And then what happened is it got a bump. It did. But then that bump continuously declined. He will lie and tell you it didn't, but facts proved otherwise. It declined with his writing after that. And we're going to probably see the same thing here. I predict that the numbers this book is probably going to go down after a short period of hate reading. The reason I didn't give it lower, so some of you are going, what? You gave it that high, a 6.7? It will be probably a 4 if they end up really being his kids. But we don't know that for sure. They didn't actually say it was her kids. So bear that in mind. She said it's her family. But if they actually are her kids, I would drop this right down to a 4 because it is just a slap in the face to every Amazing Spider-Man fan out there. This was garbage. This was shameful. Shame on you, Marvel. You should have never done this. This was a turd, and we'll only see what's going to happen next. Now, you might wonder, how can a book be worse than that? Well, you take a book that's already canceled. They know they're canceled, and they're going to write the biggest pile of garbage than they possibly can afterwards, and that is Batgirls number 17. 26 of 29 liked it, though, with a 3.4 average rating. As you can see, not many people are reading it. So the only people who are actually really reading this are probably diehard fans who would approve of anything, because this book is trash. And I'm going to give you a reason why. Okay, before I do, though, I'm going to let you know it was written by Becky Cloonan, whatever, art by Michael Conrad, and artist was Robbie Rodriguez. The art wasn't very good. It says nothing says spring like the apparel, park, spring, Jubilee, live music, good food, and besties, Cassie Kane and Stephanie Brown, unwinding after a long day of Batgirling. But the day turns sour quickly when snipers Gun Bunny and Gun Hawk appear on the scene. Why are they here? And who are they targeting? It's up to the Batgirls to protect their fellow Hills residents and find the snipers before anyone gets hurt. Now, that might not sound so bad at first, but let me go through this. Okay, this writer is taking this issue knowing it's getting canceled and using it to use their political agenda to take pop shots at anybody that supports gun ownership. I'm going to tell you, they can't deny it. It was obvious. I'm going to be clicking because I'm going to be pulling it up. I will be showing these here. It says Batgirl is out there right now, stalking you from the shadows. I guarantee you won't see her coming. Want to avoid the being of a lifetime? Lay the weapons down. Now, that's not the kicker there, okay? Here we go. This guy says, are you crazy disarming us when a shooter's on the loose? Yeah, because there's snipers up there, and they pull out their guns. They're trying to protect themselves. You should be happy the Hills Angels are putting guns in the hands of folks who can't defend themselves. Give them a chance. Notice that, give them a chance. Because one of the arguments for gun people believing in having guns is we don't want to have to wait forever for the cops to show up. Give us a chance to defend ourselves. They knew exactly what that writer knew. The writers knew what they were doing when they wrote that line. Give them a chance. I guarantee it. That was not accidental. And then Stephanie goes, you mean take advantage of them? Are you giving the guns away? Is this a charity drive? That makes absolutely zero sense. It's stupid. And he goes, we don't want a war with the Batgirls. I mean, this is just absolute garbage. And then to continue on, it gets even worse. Stephanie says, we don't need more guns in untrained hands, and we don't need you profiteering off fear. First of all, I want to let you know this, and this is my political opinion. You feel free to disagree, but they are using all these shootings and things as propaganda to take away your Second Amendment rights. When you don't have guns, what are you going to do against the criminals that do? I want you to think about that yourself, and you're allowed to have a different opinion than me, and that's okay. Okay, but anyway, the other guy goes, darn crazy bats, you got it all wrong. We love this neighborhood more than you ever will. And you know, he's probably right. That's the thing. He's trying to protect it. And later on, we have this panel here. Batgirl's right. You are more likely to accidentally shoot one of your buddies with that thing. Now lower your guns. I want to ask you again, which is absolutely probably crap. Okay, they love to use that accidental shooting thing. That's such a small percentage. I challenge any of you, and I really mean this, if you want to be against me, and that's fine on this, but actually look up the statistics on people that guns have saved them and helped them. You'll be shocked by the numbers. Should you be able to be forced to lose your weapons to protect your family, like that argument of the AR-15? You know, the people tend to forget why we're allowed to have guns in the first place. You read the Second Amendment and interpret it for yourself. That's my soapbox there. But the reason I got it so low is because this clearly doesn't give you the opportunity to think for yourself. Yes, there is cons to gun ownership. Absolutely. Accidents happen. Suicides happen. Absolutely. Bad things. People do dumb things sometimes. You're right, and I'm not arguing with that. But this issue points only one side, and that's when you have a bad writer that's using an issue for an agenda. This is the same bullcrap anti-gun talking points as usual that we get with mediocre art in it too. This is just too much in your face on politics. If you want a good issue about guns, as well as school shootings. I forgot what issue it is. I did a review many years ago of an issue of the original Robin series, not the miniseries, but the first long unlimited series that they did. Fantastic work by Chuck Dixon, showing both positives and negatives. And that's good writing there. So anyway, I think, you know, this book is getting canceled, so they just didn't care, and they blew out any crap that they wanted to believe. And I gave this issue the 5 that it deserves, because this was a definitely skip this turd. All right, with that said, we've skipped those turds, if you will. Oh boy, those were bad. Let's go to the ones that are in between, the ones in the middle that didn't get quite so bad, but not so good. So anyway, I had Nightwing issue 103. Yeah, Nightwing issue 103. I have to say, I haven't been a big fan of the Nightwing art. I don't know, it's always just meh, constantly. Nothing ever super great. And this cover's an interesting take though, but it's still not enough in my opinion to sell a book. It's an okay story. The art is okay. I like seeing Nightwing with the Titans. I do. And the side story was okay, but overall, that's what it is. This series continues just to be meh. I gave it a 7.1, nothing special. Next, oh, by the way, that League of Comics Geeks, 130 out of 148 liked it, so they gave it a better score than me, and this series must be doing pretty good then. It's Tom Taylor's the writer, C.S. Cott is the writer too. I'm sorry, I don't know who that person is. And a penciler is Elguado Penskill. I just butcher names. I don't even not bother with names. So anyway, who's the grinning man? Who's always grinning no matter what he's doing, even when he's murdering people? And what kind of deal did he make with Neron? Nightwing and the Titans better figure it out soon before they lose one of their team members. And I'm not going to give you any more than that. As I said, it's mediocre. I guess if you're a Nightwing fan, continue reading it. If you're not, it wouldn't make me want to pick it up. Next one is Superman number 3. I gave it a 7.01. 194 out of 200 liked it with a 4.3 average rating, which is giving me an idea. So far, this first story arc has been retaining readers pretty well. So the series continues to be chugging along pretty good, up to 3 issues. I think after this story arc, we'll see how that continues. And anyway, so 194 out of 200 liked with a 194 out of 200 liked it with a 4.3 average rating. You'd think I'm hyped up on sugar or something, but I'm not, just drinking water. Joshua Williamson was the writer. Artist was Jamal Campbell. And it's pretty good. Superman's loved ones are transformed into ravenous parasites. Superman wants to find Parasite Zero before its influence spreads to the whole world. And he must take up Lex Luthor's offer and work together, which we all seen this coming. So it was an okay issue, 7.01. As I said, nothing that makes me go, this is the best thing ever. Though it's Superman. It's all right. That's all I can say. It's all right. Better than what we've been getting out of Spider-Man, that's for darn sure, right? Because that book has been absolute garbage. All right, this next one was like a one shot here, which I bickered about a little bit in a previous week's review of the Avengers, and I'm going to bicker out that too. Why did this not just be included in the Avengers series. I don't know. It's just another way to try to get people to buy something. And that was Avengers Assemble Omega issue number 1. I gave it a 7.1 out of 10. 21 out of 32 liked it. So this doesn't look like it's getting a lot of steam here for anybody picking up. With only a 3.4 average rating, I think that's quite fair. Jason Aaron was the writer, and I'm so ready for him to be gone. Artist Javier Guerin and Ivan. I can't. There's several other artists. You have to check them out. There's a whole list. I'm going to butcher every single name. Avengers Assemble Finale, One Last Ride. And that's what it was. This was the conclusion of that storyline, which was too long. It was a drawn out mess. The art was okay at best. It's a decent conclusion, but we really do need to get the Avengers team back to more of a grassroots. I mean, we can have a different, cast of characters, sure. And that's what we're going to get next from here. But we need more grounded stories. What I mean by that is, we want big threats, but it seems like each series they try to elevate more and more, and it just gets too far out. If you really think about it, you pay attention to this series under Jason Aaron, it really didn't have hardly anything to do with about the classic core Avengers in it. It was all these other variants of them. Just wasn't good. So I give it a 7.1. And I think that's being generous, to be honest. And we're going to get a new team after this. Another little thing too, you mentioned you're going to see that if you read this, you're going to see like this fiery heat lava kind of thing, and it burns Captain America's shield and it damages the shield. That's not going to carry over in continuity, right? Come on now. Just not good. I think we're all ready to have this be Jason Aaron's last ride. And we're all thankful for that. Let's hope it stays that way. And my next one, this is another this one almost hit the bottom. It fought hard to get to the bottom. And that was Punisher issue 11 with a 6.95 I gave it. Though 50 out of 55 liked it on this League of Comics Geeks with a 4.2 average. Now, maybe I'm wrong here then, but it says The King of Killers, Book 2, Chapter 5, A Day in the Park. Frank Castle has finally embraced the role of the Fist of the Beast, the High Slayer of the world's most powerful clan of murderers. The Hand and the rest of the Marvel Universe have taken notice. If Frank really wants to end his war once and for all, he's going to have to fight his way through some old familiar faces. And it's written by Jason Aaron and artist Paul. I'm not even going to butcher his name, Jesus. I'm not, by the way, butchering names or saying that out of spite or anything. I just stink at pronouncing names. So I apologize there. So anyway, why did I get so bad of a score? Well, here we are. We have... man. Okay, we got some panels. We got one. This is a minor issue. We're getting, once again, some trenching back into Frank's past, and we have his wife. She's going to the gun range shooting, and a guy hits on her and asks her out, so she doesn't even talk to him and just walks off. Why do you have to be mean to a guy just because he asked you out? Why? What statement was that supposed to make? He didn't know you were married. You were there alone, right? So at least most likely he didn't know. And even so, you can just say no thank you and leave. Why do some of these writers think it's got to be the cool thing? Women got to stick it to the man. You're not going to have people ask you out anymore if you keep treating them like dirt. Anyway, they keep retrenching his past. And I will say this, at least Punisher in this issue still shows respect to Captain America. And I like that. I think it would have been a mistake not to. And they made it a point to show that. And that's the only reason this book got as high of a score as it did, is they gave credit to that facet of Captain America. But once again, they still return to mess up with this past. They mess up his whole marriage. She was going to divorce him at the park. Yes, at the very park where his wife and kids were murdered. She was going to divorce him. And that just happened right at that time. Talk about unnecessary. Why they got to keep doing that to Frank Castle? Yes, we know he's a troubled character, but why do we have to keep doing this? It makes and actually it paints his wife in a bad way. And on top of that, if you think that paints his wife in a bad way, wait till you get to the very ending of the issue where she finds out all the killing that he's done of, murderers and drug dealers that are killing people, but she's mad at him because he was murdering them in their name. No, he's murdering him because he was a broken man and he was striking out against the evil in the world because he wasn't able to protect his family. But they turn that into a bad thing. As I'm reading this, I'm struggling harder not to move it up in the worst of three. because maybe it should have been. This was a mess. I'm sorry, but I think this is a big FU to any Punisher fan out there. And I believe the next issue will be the last. They're saying it's a limited series now, but I don't think it originally intended to be that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong there. All right, leaves me with one more. Whew, that was a stinker. I would love to know your feelings about that issue. And my last one was She-Hulk number 12. I gave it a 7 out of 10. 49 out of 53 liked it though on League of Comics Geeks, giving it a 4.1 average rating. She-Hulk reaches the landmark 175th issue, if you're going by legacy numbers. Not only does She-Hulk find herself face to face with a brand new villain, that scoundrel, she'll also puts her whole law practice in danger, it says. Plus a bonus story. It's written by Rainbow Rowell and artist Joe Quinones or something like that, and then another artist, Andre, whatever. Once again, I'm just going to butcher their names. Here's the thing. The story was decent. It's okay. I will say though, it was probably the best since the series had a balance of action and humor. I like the She-Hulk with an element of humor, but they lately have been really missing out on the action. Too light on the action. This one stepped it up a little bit, so that was a bit better there. The art was decent. The second story was all talk, but it was a bit charming. I'm going to admit that it was a bit charming. Because I like to see how She-Hulk and Wasp and others get along and things like that. And there was a little bit of a tiff between there, and they worked out in a bit of a charming way. And I think it throws She-Hulk a bone, gives her a lot of credit, and I like that. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. That's the thing. The only problem is this series continues to not quite be good enough. Especially a series with not as quite mainstream. You really have to knock it out of the park to get attention, and it's just not really doing that. So who knows how long this series will last. Well, anyway, I went through a lot. I think 12 issues. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. But you know, it is what it is. Some were good, some were garbage. What were your thoughts? Should I have put the Punisher higher up on the bottom 3? I'm really thinking it should have been number 3 the more I read it, and passed up Black Adam. That's my thought after going through this. Yeah, it's amazing how we change our minds as we go through things. I really did. I sat and stewed over this and ended up giving a lower score. Well, anyway, thank you for hearing me babble. I know this has been a long one. I did a lot of issues here. Thanks for spending the time with me. Let me know your thoughts down below, and you know the drill. Until next time. Yeah.